Cancer-causing toxins were just found in the foundation in sparkly makeup. Here are 11 chemicals that could lurk in your lipstick, lotion, and eye powder. Ladies, you still may want to complain about the makeup, but it's really safe not to wear it. Traces of asbestos were recently found in eyeshadow and concealer. The U.S. beauty industry is barely regulated, and the U.S. has not enacted new cosmetic regulations in over 8 decades. Some products may be safe, but many are untested. Natural labels mean little, and the products aren't necessarily better for your health. Here are some risky chemicals that could lurk in your products. Toxic makeup is nothing new. The ancient Greeks used heavy metals on their skin, and Egyptian queens wore black coal eye makeup that was made with lead. But last week, trace amounts of asbestos, a known cancer-causing causer, were found in concealer, as well as sparkly makeup marketed to kids at Claire's. A reminder that toxic chemicals and compounds still lurk in beauty products. In March, Claire also voluntarily recalled some of its eyeshadow and face powder after asbestos was found in those products as well. The issue isn't limited to cosmetics. The FDA recently warned about dangerous bacteria in no-rinse cleaning foam used by hospital patients, alerted tattoo artists about ink contaminated with microorganisms, and found yeast in Young Living essential oils moisturizer. In part, these problems arise because U.S. beauty products are largely unregulated. The law does not require cosmetic products and ingredients other than color additives to have FDA approval before they go onto the market. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, notes some toxic ingredients like asbestos are inadvertently added during the manufacturing process. While product makers put others in purposely to help with the absorption, shine, and shimmer, or non-greasy feel, studies suggested that chemicals from the products people put on their faces and bodies can show up later in urine. Certain compounds, especially when mixed together in the body, might up a person's odds of developing cancer or mess with their reproductive ability. Wow. But it's nearly impossible for consumers to determine what's in cosmetics, even by reading the labels, since many compounds can be considered trade secrets and hid in the parfum or fragrance ingredients on the list. Alec Batis, a former research chemist who once made hair dyes for L'Oreal Group, is an expert in the risks and benefits of chemicals used in beauty products. Batis, who now works as a paid consultant for beauty companies and recently appeared in a documentary called Toxic Beauty, told Business Insider that people should be concerned about some chemicals in products like soap, shampoo, and perfume. But not every formulation is dangerous. It's not about hating chemicals, Batis said. Let's understand what this stuff really is. Here's a look at 11 problematic ingredients that are near universal bathroom vanity samples. Phosphate is used to be utmost ubiquitous in cosmetics, and they're still in many fragrances today. Studies link the plasticizers to reproductive and development issues. Phthalates, I think I tried to pronounce that, help make plastics durable and flexible. They're used in raincoats, flooring, hairspray, nail polish, perfume, lotion, shampoo, aftershave, food packaging, and toys, among many other items. When it comes to makeup, the FDA says on its website that diethylphthalate, DEP, is the only phthalate still commonly used in cosmetics. At least one phthalate can cause cancer, according to the National Institute of Health. There's also evidence that the chemicals can also mess with reproduction and child development. Batis said he'll wear some fragrance when he goes out, but he's washed it off before bed. We don't know the long-term effects, and we have to be smart about it, he said. Wow. The chemicals are meant to prevent mold and bacterial growth, but it's not clear yet how they impact human health at low levels. Many cosmetic makers have switched to paraben-free formulations, but Batis said that doesn't mean they're better. They switched to other preservatives, for examples, methylchlorosulazine and its sister compounds, he said. And I'm thinking, wow, you're switching to that, which is a known sensitizing allergen. Frequent use of sensitizing allergens like methylcellulose can cause lesions and a scary red rash in some people. Whoa. A chemical called 1,4-dioxin is not purposely put in cosmetics, but it can show up as part of the makeup manufacturing process, and it is dangerous. According to the FDA, 1,4-dioxin is a potential human carcinogen. It sometimes shows up in beauty products that contain detergents, foams, stabilizers, or solvents. The FDA recommends that manufacturers use a vacuum technique so that the cancer-linked byproduct can be avoided. Excuse me. Vatis agrees. The manufacturing process should be standardized to vacuum. He said, there's so many simple solves for some of these things. Talc and asbestos are commonly found in makeup in trace amounts. Wow. Asbestos, a known cancer causer, was found in makeup sold at Claire's twice this year. It wasn't surprising to me, but because there's no regulation, Dr. Sharuthi Mahaligia, a gynecologist at Boston Medical Center, said at the time. Coal tar dyes are sometimes in eyeshadow and hair color because they're great at tinting. Coal tar dyes can irritate the skin, and in severe cases, make people go blind. There are no color additives approved by the FDA for permanent dyeing or tinting for eyelashes and eyebrows. The FDA says in its warning on eye cosmetic safety. Most coal tar hair dyes today are made with petroleum, but they can still cause harm. The FDA suggests keeping hair dye away from your eyes and says do not dye your eyebrows or eyelashes. Nail hardeners and nail polishes can include formaldehyde, and some hair smoothing products release formaldehyde gas into the air when heated. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies formaldehyde as a human carcinogen. For this reason, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, advises hair salons to make sure they have adequate ventilation and perhaps even give employees respirators. Beauty care companies are now making and selling products that claim do not contain formaldehyde in the solution. OSHA says on this website, choosing one of these products might eliminate the risk of formaldehyde exposure. Note that just because a product doesn't list formaldehyde, formalin, or methylene glycinol does not mean that it does not contain other hazardous ingredients. Triclosan is another ingredient meant to prevent bacterial growth. It's in some toothpaste, antibacterial soaps, and body washes. Wow. Scientists are still learning about triclosan, but some evidence suggests it can mess with our thyroid hormone, which regulates metabolism and helps humans grow and develop. There are also indications that triclosan might make bacteria more resistant to antibiotics, but more research still has to be done. So you see in here that even though, yes, you have, the makeup industry doesn't care. It's not safe and doesn't care about the females who wear the makeup. Okay. So it's a good thing that I actually, men actually, and women are putting up there that makeup is bad to wear. I also heard makeup has dead baby particles in it due to aborted babies. Yeah, I've also heard that too, and I've been trying to find articles on that. I did find an article a week ago, but I couldn't find it for the video. But yeah, it's very scary when it comes to this makeup stuff. I mean, it's like the more you find out, it's like, you know what? If you have a daughter, keep her away from makeup. That's it. And just, who knows? Maybe, if you have a loved one, female, tell them not to wear makeup anymore and tell them why. At least you warned them. Other than the fact that, it's a deception, and Women should embrace their God-given beauty. You know, you ask you what makeup is a sin. Yeah, wearing makeup is a sin. Show your natural beauty. If you wear makeup, basically what I'm seeing here, if you wear makeup, you have insecurity issues. You're a female, you wear makeup, you have insecurity issues. Embrace the God-given beauty that you were born with. Lead is sometimes found in trace amounts in lipstick, and it's also in certain traditional eyeliners. This is crazy. And you're selling this stuff. Wow. Traditional eyeliners such as kohl, kajal, alcohol, surma, tiro, tozali in quality contain high levels of lead and other heavy metals, according to the FDA, and should not be used. Those products are typically not for sale in the U.S., but the FDA cautions that they sometimes make their way, into specialty markets in this country. Lead is a neurotoxin that causes brain damage and subtly lower IQs. In children, there is no identified threshold or safe blood lead level, according to the U.S. Centers of Disease Control. PEG, polyethylene glycol, compounds are petroleum-based and used to make cosmetics absorb more quickly into the skin. They enhance penetration, Beta said. If producers and consumers were to shift their expectations about what beauty products should do, he added, then we can formulate really beautiful things that don't have to absorb in 2 seconds flat. And we don't have to use certain chemicals in order to do that. Sulfates, harsh soaps that are in common shampoo ingredients, have developed a bad reputation, but they're not problematic for everyone. Sulfates are a type of surfactant, essentially a super powerful soap that can be a problem if you want to keep color-treated hair looking good for a while. People pay a lot of money to stick these color molecules in the cortex, Beta said. So after they leave the solution, I don't want them using sulfate shampoo because they're going to wash that $400 out in 5 seconds. Sulfates are harsh and can make scalps dry, but Betas wouldn't tell everyone to shy away from them. Sulfate shampoos are good for fine, normal hair, he said, because it really rocks up the cuticle and you get an amazing volume. Butylated hydroxyalol, BHA, and butylated hydrotoluene, BHT, are preservatives often used in lipsticks and moisturizers. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says BHA is reasonably anticipated to be a human carcinogen, given what it does to animals. BHT may be safer for people than BHA, but it's hard to know for sure because very few studies have been done. Both chemicals are often put on or in our mouths. In addition to being common lipstick additives, they're used to keep processed foods like chips and vegetable oils from going rancid. Do we need products to last 20 years? Betas asked. In general, we know very little about what exactly is in cosmetics. The U.S. law that regulates cosmetics, the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, hasn't been changed since it was enacted in 1938. While Europe has banned over 1,300 chemicals from products sold there, the U.S. forbids just 11. Congress wrote drafts of new cosmetic rules in 2011 and 2018. So far, nothing has been enacted. Betas believes that this beauty industry needs more regulation and unbiased third-party testing. In the absence of that, it's like a cat and a mouse game, he said. Corporate is putting the pressure on marketers to increase sales, and marketers are putting the pressure on chemists to just come up with the next thing. Wow. Instead, he hopes to see industry focus more on balancing safety and beauty concerns. It's more than just what people should buy, what people shouldn't buy, Beta said. It's about respect for other human beings. Now, we know that's not going to happen. In this world, money talks, and money comes before human life. That's it. But avoiding chemicals altogether isn't a good solution to the problem. Who says? Studies suggest that some manufactured chemicals are sensitizing allergens, meaning they can prompt people to develop new allergies to certain makeups, creams, or perfumes they use repeatedly over time. But just because something is all natural or plant-based doesn't mean it's better. Natural labels don't mean much in the first place. But more importantly, people react to all kinds of compounds, natural or not, in different ways. Take chamomile, for instance. Some people are fatally allergic to the plant, which is ragweed related. Just be aware of certain things, because everyone's different, Beta said. He believes no one is innocent in the beauty market. Companies could be more transparent about what is in their products. Regulators should insist on third-party testing. And consumers may need to manage their expectations about what beauty products can reasonably do. I don't believe in the super-duper crazy miracle, Beta said. I believe that there's a great way to nourish the largest organ of your body. Correction, the previous version of the story misstated which Young Living Essential Oils products was recalled. It is Orange Blossom Moisturizer. Now, as you see here, there's more and more reason why people should be careful. People should just give up makeup. I'm just being honest. All right, females. I have to give that up because it can, it damages your body. All right. It can make you go blind in certain cases. And it's not worth it. Some of these chemicals, they're fatal. They cause cancer. All right. And you've had a lot of actors and actresses die of cancer. Now, knowing the knowledge about the cosmetic industry, you don't have to think too hard as to why some of them died of cancer. Now, here's another article. The one I read to you was last year, 2019. This one is 2020. The toxic 12 chemicals and contaminants in cosmetics. Chemicals and contaminants linked to cancer can be found in food, water, and many other everyday products. However, no category of consumer product is subject to less government oversight than cosmetics and other personal care products. Although many of the chemicals and contaminants in cosmetics and personal care products likely pose little risk, exposure to some has been linked to serious health problems, including cancer. Since 2009, 595 cosmetic manufacturers have reported using 88 chemicals in more than 73,000 products that have been linked to cancer, birth defects, or reproductive harm. Many of these chemicals should be banned from cosmetics, as proposed in California Assembly Bill 2762, the Toxic Free Cosmetics Act. Among the toxic chemicals that should be banned are formaldehyde, known as carcinogen, paraformaldehyde, a type of formaldehyde, methylene glycol, a type of formaldehyde, quaternarium 15, which releases formaldehyde, mercury, which can damage the kidneys and nervous system, dibutyl and diethyl phthalates, which disrupts hormones and damages the reproductive system, isobutyl and isopropyl parabens, which disrupt hormones and harm reproductive system, the long-chain pair and polyfluoroalkyl substances known as PFAS, which has been linked to cancer, and phthalate used in hair dyes, which irritate and sensitize the skin, damage DNA, and cause cancer. Damage your DNA. All these toxic chemicals have been banned by the European Union and many other nations, and many have been slated for removal from the store brands of major U.S. retailers, including Target, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and CVS Health. For example, as of the end of 2019, CVS Health prohibits the use of formaldehyde, many chemicals that release formaldehyde, many parabens, dibutyl phthalates, and diethylene phthalates. Some of these are already banned from products sold in Whole Foods. Some of the chemicals include AB 2762, do not have to be disclosed on the package because they are components of fragrance and so are exempt from federal labeling requirements. In particular, two phthalates included AB 2762, diabutyl phthalate and diethyl phthalate may be included in combinations of chemicals disclosed on the label as a fragrance, but do not have to be disclosed as individual chemicals. Diethyl phthalate is an endocrine disruptor and a developmental toxin that harms male reproductive system development. It can cause early puberty in boys and other changes in reproductive system. Diethyl phthalate harms the reproductive system and can affect the developing fetus. It can also be it also has been classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as possibly carcinogenic. Many of these chemicals are rarely used in personal care products and will be easily to replace. For example, in Skin Deep, EWG's database of cosmetics and other personal care products, EWG found isobuthypyrin and isopropylparaben in just 96 and 12 products respectively offered for sale in January 2017. 2018 analysis by EWG found fewer than 200 products contained one of the 13 PFA chemicals. The cosmetics industry has grown dramatically since 1938, when Congress last enacted cosmetics legislation and Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. At that time, cosmetics industry reportedly approximately $1 billion in sales. Okay. In 2016, it reported more than $169 billion in sales. Nevertheless, only 2 pages of the 829-page Act governs cosmetics, and those provisions provide the Food and Drug Administration no financial resources and sharply limit its authority to regulate chemicals and contaminants that pose chronic risks. Although Congress has since then given the FDA the power to ensure that food additives, color additives, and pesticides pose no harm from repeat exposures, Congress has not given the agency the same authority to regulate the chronic risk posed by chemicals and contaminants in cosmetics. Instead, the FDA largely relies on the personal care products industry to regulate itself as a way to address the risk its products pose. So basically, the reason why they do that, because cosmetic industry and the movie industry work hand in hand, and they're not going to lose their bottom line. They're not going to lose their bottom line and not going to lose money over there, because they have to regulate themselves. It's going to cost them money, and they're not going to do that. They're going to let their actors and actresses die of diseases later on in the process in their acting careers. Consumers use a wide variety of cosmetics and personal care products. Few consumer products contribute as many chemical exposures as cosmetics and other personal care products. Each day, American women use an average of 12 personal care products that contain 168 different chemicals. Men use an average of 6 personal care products that contains 85 different chemicals. Many of these products are applied directly to the skin, the body's largest organ, where ingredients can be absorbed directly into the bloodstream. Consumers' use of cosmetics continues to grow dramatically. Since 2010, the U.S. cosmetics market has grown an average of 4.1% annually, and internet sales have expanded to account for 8.4% of the total market share. Cosmetics imports are also on the rise. In fiscal year 2016, 2.9 million lines of cosmetics were imported into the U.S. from 181 different countries. Lines of cosmetic imports doubled over the past decade, with a substantial increase after FY 2011. Cosmetic imports from China increased by 79% between FY 2011 and FY 2016. Although most chemicals in cosmetics pose little or no risk, some have been linked to serious health problems, including cancer, reproductive and neurological harm, and developmental delays. Cosmetic chemicals enter the body through the skin, inhalation, ingestion, and internal use, and pose the same risk as food chemicals. In addition to the risks posed by intentionally added ingredients, cosmetics can be contained with heavy metals, including arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, and nickel. Some chemicals used in personal care products pose risk at very low doses, can interfere with the hormone system. Research shows that endocrine disrupting chemicals such as parabens and phthalates may pose the greater risk during prenatal and early postnatal development. When organ and neural systems form, exposure to these chemicals have been linked to endocrine diseases and some types of cancer. For example, endocrine disruptors are known to affect how women's bodies use estrogen and thus have been linked to breast cancer. Research also shown that endocrine disruptors can harm the immune system, an effect that makes us more susceptible to disease and viruses. I don't know, man, but when I come to think of it, there have been a lot of female actresses, who have succumbed to breast cancer. You haven't noticed that? I'm just saying. Many cosmetics have also been linked to acute risks, including burns and infections. Formaldehyde-based hair straightening procedures referred to as keratin treatments have been linked to hair loss, rash, blisters, nosebleeds, bleeding gums, and loss of taste and smell. Other cosmetics have caused hair loss. The FDA continues to find cosmetics contaminated with bacteria, including body wash, face powder, shadows, and lotions, or containing banned color chemicals, including shampoos, cleaners, soaps, and temporary tattoos. Under the current law, the FDA has little authority to review. Oh yeah, by the way, tattoo parlors are not government regulated, so you take a risk when you get a tattoo. Under the current law, the FDA has little authority to review chemicals in cosmetics and other personal care products. Personal care products companies do not have to register with the FDA, provide the FDA with ingredient statements, adopt good manufacturing practices or GMPs, report adverse events to the FDA, or provide the FDA with access to safety records. Wow. The FDA does not have the power to suspend the registration or order recalls when products pose a risk of serious adverse health consequences or death. Wait a minute. Someone comes out with an alternative cure that actually works, and the FDA is all over them. Okay. But things like this, that is, these chemicals put in makeup and cosmetics that are killing people slowly, messing up their reproductive system, altering their DNA. You have no power. Wow. Okay. All right. I see what's going on here. Okay. The FDA does not have the power to suspend registration or order recalls when products pose a risk of serious adverse health consequences or death. By contrast, manufacturers of food, drugs, medical devices must register with the FDA, maintain and give the FDA access to records, and report adverse events. If food, drugs, or devices are unsafe, the FDA can suspend production and product licenses. If unsafe food or devices reach the market, the FDA can order recall and take legal action against drug makers that do not recall their products. Of more than 10,000 chemicals used to formulate cosmetics, just 11 have ever been banned or restricted by the Federal Food and Drug Administration. By contrast, the FDA, the Environment Protection Agency, and the Consumer Product Safety Commission have broad authority to ensure safety of chemicals and other consumer products. For example, the FDA has the authority to review chemicals in prescription and over-the-counter drugs and chemicals found in food. And the EPA has authority to review chemicals and pesticides used in homes and on farms, and to set limits for pesticide residues on food. In 2016, Congress expanded EPA authority to review chemicals in cleaners, paints, solvents, and many other consumer products. The U.S. has fallen far behind our international trading partners in the regulation of cosmetics. More than 40 nations have taken steps to ban or restrict, in combination, more than 1,400 chemicals or contaminants in cosmetics and personal care products, including chemicals linked to cancer, reproductive harm, and neural harm. All of the chemicals identified in ABA 2762 have already been banned by the EU, including isopropylphthalate and isobutyrylbarabine, dibutylphthalatate, and that sounds like I'm trying to speak a foreign language, and diethylphthalatate, mercury, formaldehyde, and many PFAs. Other nations have restricted the presence of chemicals such as formaldehyde, the perfluoroctanic acid, PFOA. Nations with regulations targeting personal care products. America is not in that group. Wow. Look how few that are in there. And look how many that are not. Wow. The cosmetic industry has long fought meaningful oversight. Since the early 1950s, it has defeated efforts by Congress to modernize cosmetics laws. Since 2015, some cosmetics companies have supported giving the FDA the authority and resource to review and regulate chemicals and contaminants of concerns and comments, and have supported requiring manufacturers to register, provide ingredient statements, adopt GMPs, and report adverse events. Some companies have also been supported in giving the FDA the power to suspend production of dangerous products and order mandatory recalls. However, other companies have not supported the FDA review and oversight. Support is overwhelmingly for stricter regulations on chemicals to ensure safety. Let's look at the chart. You favor or oppose stricter regulations on chemicals used in the U.S. to ensure their safety. Wow. Consumers overwhelmingly support federal oversight of cosmetic chemicals. 2/3 of consumers believe chemicals in cosmetics are already reviewed by the FDA, according to the polling conducted by American Viewpoint and Mellman Group in 2016. 3/4 of consumers, regardless of age, race, or party affiliation, supported stricter oversight of chemicals in cosmetics, and nearly 9 in 10 consider stricter rules very important. In addition, 9 in 10 consumers believe cosmetic companies should have to notify the FDA if their products harm consumers, support giving the FDA mandatory recall authority, and support rules ensuring cosmetics are produced in clean environments. Sad to say, this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Money talks, and these lobbyists, they're going to fight tooth and nail to keep their bottom line. Because to have safety is going to mean they're going to have to inquire safety and to think about others means you're going to have to make a sacrifice. It means you're going to lose. You may lose in competing with rival cosmetic companies. I'm not going to do that. Okay, they're not going to do that. Also, the fact of the child labor laws. In India, they have kids going deep into tunnels where they could end up dying, falling and busting their head open just to get a certain chemical, just to get a certain material, okay, to put in makeup. Okay? This is how far it goes. People, these businessmen are not going to change the laws for people. People are mega rich. But then again, ladies, you know, this is all off of your, you know, this is all for you. So when you think about makeup and cosmetics and you say that, you know, it's legalistic and, you know, men are oppressive or the religion or, you know, the Bible's oppressive when coming to women not wearing makeup, do some research. Do some research about these companies and what they put in their makeup. And that stuff is put on your face. This stuff causes cancer, can make you blind. Is vanity really worth it compared to it's just easier just to go natural and let a man just accept your God-given beauty? You know, it says, like, you know, with Adam and Eve, they were naked and they saw each other and they were not ashamed. If the man that you're with can't accept your natural beauty, your naked beauty of your face, okay, and not be ashamed, he's not for you. You can't accept your body, your face without makeup, without weave. It's not for you. Your looks are going to fade one day. Later.